Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, we are going to look at a vitamin D3 propaganda video. This is from Good Morning America. This video is few years old. Now, when I saw this video, I really got triggered. And the reason is that this video has flat out wrong information about vitamin D3. There is a lot of, scare tactics. They are talking about vitamin D3 toxicity. And the doctor here in this particular segment, she is relying on data which is obsolete, and she's relying on guidelines which are no longer valid. So let's watch this video together, and I will share my personal opinion as we watch the video.
That health warning about taking too much vitamin D. New research reveals it's more common than you may think.
Vitamin D, known as the sunshine vitamin, is more popular than ever, but overdoing it really could lead to potentially serious health risks. Our senior medical contributor, Dr. Jen Ashton, is here, and it's really important, Jen, great to have you, because a lot of people here in the Northeast have been told we need to be taking it.
It's all the rage.
That's right. The northern latitudes, it's an incredibly popular vitamin supplement. This latest report really took the pulse of what we're doing in this country, how many of us are taking it, and how much we're taking. So the analysis was done 2013 to 2014. We're taking a lot of it. About 18% of Americans, adults, take about 1,000 units a day. About 3% of us are taking 4,000 units a day. That's significant because that is the upper limit of normal. That's where you can potentially get into issues with toxicity. So
this is my problem with a lot of mainstream news media. When they talk about vitamin D, they use obsolete guidelines. So here what she's saying is that 4,000 IUs per day, that is maximum that one should consume, and anything above that can potentially be toxic, and you can get something like hypercalcemia. Now, this is flat out wrong. And I'm saying this not as a doctor, but I'm saying this as someone who suffers from vitamin D deficiency. And I consulted many experts, many different doctors to understand why I was deficient in vitamin D. And I have learned a lot. So that's why I'm so passionate about, talking about these things. And this is not just my personal opinion. I will share some medical research data. I want to make sure that you guys understand that the 4,000 IUs per day limit, that is an obsolete limit. You should not think in terms of how many IUs of vitamin D I should take. Instead, you should think in terms of what is your vitamin D serum level. And you can find that by doing a vitamin D test. That is the only way you can know for sure whether you need more vitamin D or whether you are already at a good level. So let me first show you my results. So this is vitamin D24OH. This is the vitamin D serum level that a typical vitamin D test will tell you, and the new guidelines say that you should be between 30 and 100, preferably somewhere in the middle. So I am 66. This is 66 nanograms per milliliter, and this is an ideal number. The obsolete guidelines used to say that you should be somewhere around 30, and anything above 30 was not recommended. They said 30 is the optimal value, and the 30 nanogram per milliliter, that number, doctors came up with that number based on studying children who had rickets, and that was a vitamin D deficiency that was causing the bones would get soft, and these kids would have their legs and their spine, they would get all twisted. So this level was the adequate level for the absorption of calcium so that your bones were strong. But now we know that vitamin D does a lot more than just absorbing calcium. So here is a paper that talks about the importance of vitamin D, not just with respect to calcium absorption and bone health, but also in terms of your immune system and many other areas where vitamin D is useful. So here authors are saying that if you have low levels of serum 25 hydroxy vitamin D, this is the vitamin D serum level in your blood. So ideally it should be between 30 and 100. Mine is 65, and multiple doctors that I consulted, they told me that 65 is what you should aim for. So if your levels are low, then you are at a risk of developing several immune related diseases and disorders. And look at all the diseases that they are talking about: psoriasis, type 1 diabetes, multiple sclerosis, arthritis, TB, sepsis, respiratory infections, so diseases related with your lungs, and obviously COVID-19. So a lot of people know about this already. So vitamin D will help you fight all these diseases, and if your vitamin D levels are low, then you have a high risk of developing many of these diseases. So vitamin D is not just for calcium absorption. Vitamin D is not just for your bone health. It does a lot more, and that's why whenever I watch these videos from mainstream media, this is Good Morning America, they are basically talking about research which is obsolete. Now 4000 IUs of vitamin D is not something that is going to give you hypercalcemia, and I know this because I personally take 10,000 IUs of vitamin D every day, and I have been taking 10,000 IUs of vitamin D for the last more than a year now, and my number is 66. And if I show you my trend, so if I click on the trends here, you will see that my number, it was 47 in 2020. It dropped because I got lazy and I stopped taking my supplements, so it dropped back to 34. And then for the last couple of years I have been taking 10,000 IUs, and you can see that I'm at 67 and 66. So basically I'm maintaining that level of 66 or 67, which is the healthy level based on what my doctor told me, and I'm taking 10,000 IUs of vitamin D. So that's a lot more than the the upper limit that FDA has established, which is 4,000 IUs. So remember this 4,000 IUs per day, that level was established. That was the baseline for how much vitamin D you need to maintain healthy bones. But the research stopped there. They were only looking for optimal calcium absorption so that your bones don't get soft, so that you don't get diseases like rickets. But that research was not looking at all these diseases that this paper is talking about. There are so many autoimmune conditions and diseases for which your immune system has to fight, viral diseases like COVID-19. All these diseases, you are at a high risk of developing these diseases if you have low vitamin D. So 4,000 is not optimal. The only way you can find out how much vitamin D you need, how much vitamin D supplementation you need, is through a blood test. Go and test your vitamin D levels and see where you stand. So if you are 30 or below 30, then that's not good. And remember one thing, a lot of the older data says that 30 is good enough. 30 is not good enough. 30 is the bare minimum that you need to have. But that's not optimal. That's not the ideal situation. Ideally, you should be somewhere between 30 and 100. So if we go back to that chart, this green zone that you see, 30 to 100, this is the ideal, you're supposed to be somewhere in the center. Now, I also want to clarify something about vitamin D toxicity. So just because your vitamin D serum level is high, that does not automatically mean that you will have vitamin D toxicity. When you get a vitamin D test, when the doctor measures your vitamin D serum level, they are talking about 25 hydroxy vitamin D. But you have to understand that this is not the active form of vitamin D. Our kidneys convert the vitamin D serum levels that is circulating in our blood to its active form. And this active form is called 125 dihydroxy vitamin D. So this is a completely different chemical. And this active form of vitamin D is what decides how much calcium your body absorbs. So if you have high levels of active vitamin D, then you are at a risk of vitamin D toxicity. But our bodies have this natural defense mechanism. Our bodies have this tightly regulated negative feedback loop, and this feedback loop prevents vitamin D toxicity. Our kidneys, they will not convert vitamin D to its active form unless there is a shortage of calcium and phosphate, or if your immune system is under attack from external virus or bacteria. If that's not the case, then your vitamin D serum level can be as high as 50, 55, 60, 65 nanogram per milliliter, but the active form of vitamin D will not be elevated. But as soon as your body realizes that you are deficient in calcium, or if you are deficient in phosphate, or if you have some kind of virus attack, maybe COVID-19 or flu virus, or some kind of external agent is attacking and your immune system needs to mount a fight back, that's when your kidneys will start converting the vitamin D serum level into its active form. So this feedback loop ensures that you will not get hypercalcemia or vitamin D toxicity just because you are taking vitamin D supplements. So don't be scared. Don't be like, hey, if I take 5,000 IUs of vitamin D, will I get vitamin D toxicity? The answer is no. Your kidneys are automatically going to shut down the conversion of vitamin D serum level into the active form of vitamin D if your body realizes that it doesn't need it. So having a vitamin D serum level of around 65 nanogram per milliliter, it ensures that your immune system has enough ammunition to fight back against invading virus and bacteria. Maintaining a high level of vitamin D serum level, 60-65, that is like you have reserve in your body, and when your kidney wants to convert it into active form, it will do that. It will do that only when it thinks that there is a need for that. So if you are low in calcium, then it will do that. If you are low in phosphate, then it will do that. Or if your immune system is mounting a fight back against invading virus or bacteria, then it will do that. there was a paper that was published by Israeli scientists. So this study was interesting because they were monitoring the vitamin D levels of a bunch of people, and then some of these folks got the COVID-19 virus. So what happened was that the folks who had a healthy vitamin D serum level of 40 or higher, when they got COVID-19, they did not get hospitalized. They did not fall fatally sick. Some of them did get sick for a day or two, but they mostly recovered. But unfortunately, the folks who had very low vitamin D serum levels, so like 15 or 16 nanograms per milliliter, these folks, when they got the COVID-19 infection, a lot of them fell sick and some of them even died. So it was unfortunate for those guys, and the conclusion was that given everything is the same, if two people had exactly similar health except that one person had a high vitamin D serum level, so they had high reserves of vitamin D serum level in their blood, and the other person had very low vitamin D serum level, if both of them got infected with COVID-19 virus, the person who had say 50, 55 or 60 nanogram per milliliter of vitamin D serum level in their blood, they were able to basically mount back a very strong defense against the invading virus, and they did not fall sick. Whereas the person who had low vitamin D serum level, they fell sick, and some of them unfortunately died. Now, full disclosure guys, I am not a doctor. I am just sharing my own personal research that I have done over the years, and I started doing these research because I had very low vitamin D, and my doctor, during my annual health checkup, I had symptoms of low vitamin D, which were basically I was feeling tired, exhausted, I had mental fogginess, and I've been researching about vitamin D. I'm reading as many medical journals and papers as I can find, and I make these videos and I want to share whatever I've learned with you guys. Here is what I will do. I will link all the relevant research that I have used in the video description below. I also have a newsletter which I send out usually once a week, in which I share whatever new things I learn about vitamin D, and this is a completely free newsletter, so you guys can sign up for that if you are interested. I will put a link in the description below. I promise I don't spam. I usually send one letter every week. Sometimes I'm lazy and I will send it like once every 10 days. Also, I have written an ebook on vitamin D. This is basically the sum total of everything that I have learned so far about vitamin D. This is scientific data that I have accumulated over the years, and I have consolidated all that, and I have written it in a simple, easy to understand way. I'm not writing some PhD thesis. I'm writing a book for normal, ordinary folks like you and me. So if you are interested in that book, I have linked it in the video description below. Thanks for watching this video, and next, why don't you guys watch this video over here? This is also about vitamin D, and you're going to find it really useful. So go ahead and watch this video, and I will see you guys over there. Bye.